Welcome to the next Inside the Studio. We are super excited to be back. It's been really great to plan this series through, and we're excited to share this content with you. So we're Steadfast Collective. We're a digital product studio based here in Southampton, and inside the studio is our chance to really lift the lid on what it's like to run a digital product studio. I'm Pete Heslop.
And I'm Dan Jones.
And today we are chatting to you about Shopify. So Dan, what is Shopify?
Shopify is this really great tool that allows you to build an e-commerce website with ease, basically. So you don't have to do the hosting, you don't have to manage sort of payments. All you do is you can load up a website, pop in your products, choose a theme, or get a theme developed and get going straight away. And it's really great for getting a store off the ground and going literally within a day. I've done sites within a few hours and had them up and running and going and getting payments, which is just incredible. It takes all the hassle out of it.
It does. It's almost Squarespace for e-commerce. That's kind of the best way. You know, if you know what Squarespace is, it helps you a lot with that kind of stuff. And they've nailed that payment flow really well. And we know clients that have moved from Magento to Shopify purely on the way that they can use the app. That the people buying products barely know a difference, but the back-end system is so good that their marketing team are begging them to move their Magento sites over to Shopify because it's so much easier for them.
Yeah, the reporting and stuff that Shopify gives you is really good out of the box. Like, you don't have to install anything else, and it's just great. You can see when people are on the site, you can see how much they've spent, you can see abandoned carts. So all of those bits that you'd usually want to look at and spend ages optimizing and stuff like, I don't know, Google Analytics, it's just there straight away, and it's really good.
Definitely. So we're going to jump into 3 reasons why we really love Shopify. And this is applicable to you whether you run a small bookshop, sell some potential some merch or something, or whether you're running, a full-scale operation with warehouses. And that is our first point, is that Shopify works really well, whether you are, like I said, someone running something out of their living room, or you have multiple warehouses. And I think for us, a good example of this would be Gymshark. So Gymshark, they sell gym clothing. And their big day of the year is always Black Friday. They're kind of almost famous for their Black Friday sales. And they're based on Shopify. They work closely with the Shopify team to run their site. And I've got some stats here. So during Black Friday, the week leading after Black Friday, they were shipping 5 units a second, every second for a week.
That's crazy.
That's how much they sold. They sold 3 million units in a single day through Shopify.
That's absolutely nuts. And how much was that they turned over?
So, I don't know. I know that over the year, so last year in 2019, Gymshark did 30 million.
30 million.
And that's all through Shopify. So whether you're using it, to sell your used books or whatever you're doing, or whether you are thinking of going big on it, Shopify can deal with both of that. And the reason why people are picking Shopify is not only because of the ease of use and so on and so on, but Shopify is no longer a startup. They're established. They've been around 13 years. They have a bunch of developers, team managing everything. And they're no longer kind of like a young, startup who are kind of bootstrapping. They're fully there and they're ready to take on your business, whether you are big or small.
Yeah, I mean, they've got so much expertise in that area, and they've been working in it for so long that they know all of the sort of the areas where there's hiccups, and they've got massive optimizations for things like big sales and stuff like that, and they've got all the infrastructure there. It's just unnecessary nowadays, really, to even have to think about doing that when there's the tools like Shopify there that do it for you.
100%.
And they've spent 13 years building that out.
Yeah, for sure.
So they know what they're doing.
So we've worked with some clients on some Shopify sites. Most of the Shopify sites we build are partner to partner, so we're under NDA and we can't talk about them. But Dan, chat about a few of them that we have worked on.
So I think it was halfway through last year we got a call and we were asked to do some work on Cambridge Satchel Company. I don't know if you've heard of them before. They were featured on a Google advert and they just exploded overnight and became huge. So we were tasked with optimizing some of the homepage on there, looking at some of the design, speeding things up a little bit, and taking a look at their email campaigns. And Shopify made it really easy to do.
It did.
The tools were there for all of the reporting, so we could see exactly what was happening. All of the integrations were there, so we could not only see through Shopify, they had really good integrations with Google Analytics and everything like that. So we could backtrace and see exactly what events had caused things, and we could really easily get in, quickly fix the code, and find a better solution for doing their email campaigns that was much more flexible for them, and meant that we could really look at improving that whole flow.
It was their abandoned cart emails that we really worked on, and we saw a massive increase when we made a few tweaks to their conversion rate through that.
Yeah, and that just shows how easy it is. We didn't spend a whole amount of time on it really, and we managed to get really good results with very little work to do it. So that just goes to show how good it is. We've also worked with another brand, Rulia, recently, which are a online sort of newspaper, or not newspaper, like a journal, and they feature events around cycling, and they have a store that sort of supports that, and they sell their own cycling apparel and sort of cycling goods. So they recently transitioned from Magento, as you said, over to Shopify. That was quite a smooth process, really, considering they had so many products, so many orders and purchases and customers. There were tools around there to help make that quite easy, and ultimately their product now is much smoother, much nicer, and they're using a theme that's been tweaked and sort of adjusted, and it looks really great and really smooth. And I think that's been a really good success for them.
And then we're doing a custom template for a client of ours at the moment.
Yeah, so Hugami is sort of an online home goods sort of store. So it's all based around Hygge, which is sort of a Scandinavian concept of sort of feeling snug and comfortable at home. So they've got lots of sort of Scandinavian homeware goods around sort of tables, curtains, cushions, throws, all of these areas, and we've been able to design a really comprehensive site that has lots of features within Shopify, and that is really smooth to use. And it's going to be really fun.
Yeah. So we're halfway through that now, and when it's launched, we'll be sure to kind of share that around.
Yeah, definitely.
So to wrap up that point, kind of, Shopify is great whether you are starting out or whether you are establishing warehouses. It works for you, and that kind of leads us nicely onto point 2, which is, one of the reasons why they're able to cope with that real range is because they've nailed that basic infrastructure. So one of the concerns when you're taking payments or anything to do with that is security, server updates. So let's say you're using WordPress, is your WooCommerce updated, etc., etc. Is Magento updated? Shopify handle all of that. Your job is kind of the template, the skin onwards.
Sits on top,
Really, Shopify would just love you just to focus on you selling your products, and they'll handle everything else. And that's what it's so great for our clients, is because they know they can set something up, get it going, and their job is to worry about conversion rates, not security updates.
Yeah, I mean, it's magical. There literally isn't an upgrade button on the site. The updates are just there as you go, and you never know that it's been updated, and it's just constantly being improved. I think I saw recently they push about 50 updates a day through Shopify, which is crazy. That's a massive number of updates. And it's invisible. They're just fixing things in the background that you don't even know are there.
It's nice.
And they're obviously doing a really good job, because Shopify is rarely ever down. And when they are, it's usually
probably because they've got a Black Friday sale at Gymshark.
Yeah, definitely.
And then point 3, Dan.
So it plays well with others, and that is really a good testament to how it works with outside companies and integrations. So there's lots of tooling around Shopify, and lots of companies have stepped in to sort of integrate with it and make sure that their product works well. So things like accounting, there's lots of plugins and stuff to sort of manage it really easily, and it will just sync that data across, and you don't really have to even think about it. Stuff like email integrations, so that you can quickly set up sort of mailing lists and send out sort of abandoned cart emails. That's all really easy. There's whole integration suites around sort of bundling up products into groups of products that you can sell as like a whole set.
The ecosystem's good.
Yeah, the ecosystem's great, and I mean, it's whatever you want to do on there, there's usually someone who's built that.
Sure.
Whether it's from running contests on there or even just having a live chat on there, there's literally integrations for everything. And because it's so big now, it's just ubiquitous across the industry. Everyone's got a Shopify integration.
And then because it does play well with others. It is still developer focused. So although you could create a Shopify account, create a store with no developer experience, there's the complete opposite to that, where if you are a developer, it's still nice to work with. So it gives you the tools if you want them, but if you go, I'm not a developer, here's kind of the plug and play stuff. But if you are a developer, you can really drill in. And as people who are primarily back-end developers, you know, we're really used to working on bespoke code. We can still make magic happen in Shopify. You're not constantly fighting it the whole time.
No, and it's got a really good sort of ecosystem, so you can pull the data from Shopify and work with it externally. So if you need to generate, I don't know, some custom reports that aren't there or anything like that, it's relatively simple to dig in and get that data and work with it. Which, if you're a big company that's got sort of other systems that aren't necessarily supported, it's good to know that support's there and that you can build out those integrations that you need.
It's good. So we're just going to recap. So we love working with Shopify because it works great whether you're a really small company or a really large company. It works across the board. It's great for you. You don't have to worry about things like server updates, security updates, any of that stuff. It's just handled for you. And finally, it's really nice to work with as a developer or as a user. You know, it's plug and play. There are lots of things around the ecosystem which just make life easier.
Yeah, I really like Shopify, and it's my go-to platform. If I'm building an e-commerce site, it's what I would choose personally.
100%. So, you know, we would love to hear from you. If you're using Shopify or you have any questions and you want to send us a message, just get in touch. Reach out. We are more than happy to help you with any questions you have to maybe why you should be using Shopify, or maybe you're stuck on something. We'd be more than happy to help. So we hope you enjoyed this episode of Inside the Studio. We'll be back again on Tuesday with another topic. But until then, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google, or Spotify, or follow us on YouTube, where we actually, if you only listen to these, we actually do film them. So you can follow us on YouTube and you can watch them along there.
Yep. Awesome. So we'll see you guys next week. See you then.
See you then. Cheers.
Bye.